So I got the document for the judicial complaint, and if you wish to obtain this document, just go on to Telegram, go to the channel Just Conspiracy, and the document is posted up there. Now, I'm just going to go over what I put. Of course, I put the case number, my relationship to the case. I'm a witness, okay? And if you're watching this online, you can be a witness too. Because if they ever have an actual court hearing about it, I can introduce the evidence, and then you can say that you witnessed the evidence. So that is completely legit, and this is what more people need to start doing to stand up with one another, especially since they're saying, oh, nobody can come down to the courthouse because of COVID. Oh, nobody can get together in groups of more than like 2 people. Oh, yeah, we don't want y'all getting together and actually figuring out how to fight us. That wouldn't be cool. So my relationship to the case is that I'm a witness. Okay, and I'm just going to go over what I wrote down here, and then I'll go over some of the rules here. So you can see it on the screen behind me that is green right now, but it won't be when you're watching it. All right, so the statement of facts. So I got to state the following facts. February 5 of 2021, Christopher Smith forced an attorney upon Sierra Vallejos to obtain jurisdiction over Sierra in creating a Star Chamber Court. When Sierra spoke, Christopher hung up on Sierra, denying her right to be heard and her right to be mom to Sierra's 2 daughters. 3 days before, on February 2 of 2021, Christopher signed search warrant with no bond attached, no clerk stamp for time and day, and was left at Sierra's home after an officer checked that no one was home to leave the search warrant with. During the search, I heard Sierra on the phone with an officer, so she was clearly at home at the time of the search and could have taken search warrant. Since February 5 of 2021, I have heard Sierra try to file paperwork multiple times and refused by the clerk to file, with the clerk stating the judge must approve it first. So obviously Judge Smith. Christopher Smith. So, Christopher Smith, 1, shows no fairness or impartiality in upholding the rule of law and his judicial duties by denying Sierra her right to be heard and her substantive right to be mom to her 2 daughters. Okay, and then it says violating Rule 2.2. So what's 2.2? And these come from Kansas judicial canons, okay? So the state of Kansas judicial canons of judicial conduct. Rule 2.2, impartiality and fairness. A judge shall uphold and apply the law and shall perform all duties of judicial office fairly and impartially. Yeah, he's not doing that. Rule 2.3, bias, prejudice, and harassment. A judge shall not, in the performance of judicial duties by words or conduct, manifest bias or prejudice or engage in harassment, including but not limited to bias, prejudice, or harassment based upon race, sex, gender, religion, national origin, ethnicity, disability, age, sexual orientation, marital status, socioeconomic status, or political affiliation, and shall not permit court staff, court officials, or others subject to the judge's direction and control to do so. Okay, so he's being biased, he's being prejudiced, he's prejudged her about what he wishes to see happen to her, and he's harassing the crap out of her by not allowing her to have a family. Now, in the very first video I did about, the state steals children in Kansas, I pretty much brought this up, that, they're doing this to her because she's poor and brown. It's really that simple. You think that this would be happening to rich white people? No. Rich white people would have already had their children back by now. So that's bias and prejudice, and he's harassing the family. All right, Rule 2.5, Competence, Diligence, and Cooperation. A judge shall perform judicial and administrative duties competently and diligently. Well, give the children back. I mean, if you're not competent enough in law to know that you can't take children, you shouldn't be a judge. If you're not diligent enough to know that you should give them back immediately, and instead you're going to write a temporary order, but not officially though, you shouldn't be a judge. Okay. Rule 2.6. Ensuring the right to be heard. When you hang up on people and do not allow them to speak, you're not ensuring their right to be heard. When you direct, and this is Rule 2.12, when you direct the court staff, court officials, and others subject to the judge's direction and control to act in a manner consistent with the obligations under this code. So when you direct your clerks to not accept her paperwork, that's you and the clerks violating their right to be heard. Now, this is actually kind of crazy to me because this is the first state I've ever encountered that the clerks are actually under the judiciary. They're supposed to be separate. Every other state I've seen in the federal government, the clerks are always separate from the judiciary because the clerks are supposed to kind of watch over and make sure everything runs smoothly, even when the judiciary blatantly breaks the law like this. Whatever. So that's all of the canons of judicial conduct for number 1. Okay, number 2. Christopher Smith has had ex parte communications with government officers from DCF and the police department and has permitted or initiated proceedings that affect Sierra's substantive right to be mom. Okay, and this is clear from the search warrant. There was no reason to issue the search warrant. Still to this day, we don't even have an affidavit on why the warrant was issued. Shouldn't have been issued. And my guess is that Christopher Smith is the one who came up with that brilliant, lovely idea. And also, he's talking to DCF about keeping the children. Even when Sierra was talking to DCF, they were like, well, there's a temporary order in. There's no such thing as a temporary order. But even Christopher Smith said that he wasn't officially making an order. Sierra still doesn't have an order for her children to be taken. They just took her kids. They just took them. And they're going to keep them unless you do something about it. You. All right. And that violates Rule 2.9 of the judicial conduct, the canons of judicial conduct, which is no ex parte communications. Okay? And they can have ex parte communications, but not when they violate a substantive right. Okay? And a substantive right is basically like your right to property, happiness, to the pursuit of happiness. Basically, your right to be free. So, if the public doesn't get involved, you're not free. And there's only 2 types of slaves. There's involuntary slaves and voluntary slaves. So if you don't get involved, you're volunteering to be a slave. Just my opinion. 3. Christopher Smith should disqualify himself on the grounds of having first-hand knowledge of the facts, mainly if he signed a bogus search warrant, and presiding over one criminal matter that directly connects to the family matter and showing bias for the government and prejudice against Sierra, violating your Rule 2.11 of the Canons of Judicial Conduct. And the rule of 2.11 is disqualification. A judge shall disqualify himself or herself in any proceeding in which the judge's impartiality might reasonably be questioned, including but not limited to the following circumstances. The judge has a personal bias or prejudice concerning a party or a party's lawyer, or personal knowledge of the facts that are in dispute in the proceeding, which would be, whether the search warrant was legitimate or not. And then if you go down to to 5, the judge. D, previously presided as a judge over the matter in another court. He's presiding over the matter in the criminal court and the family court. Both courts have the same set of facts. Okay? They're both based off the same set of facts. He's showing bias, and, well, Sierra hasn't had her first criminal court date yet, but still, if what he's doing in the family matter is any indication, he's just going to keep breaking the law when he gets her over on the criminal side. And it's not a court because it's not a real court of law. He's going to just break the law and violate her rights and, probably get away with it if nobody cares. If nobody cares. So, and of course, below that, I put, for them to go watch, like, for all of my evidence, you can just point them to the YouTube videos of State Steals Children, Kansas, because that has a lot of the evidence, and then Sovereign Citizen Terrorism, Stolen Children. Because just with those 2 videos, it shows all of the proof and all of the evidence and has all of the recordings for everything that was stated in that judicial complaint. Now, there's somebody online, and I'd like to address this really quick, if I could, before we go. And everybody, just remember to like, share, subscribe. I'll have some links in the description box below.
Why?
But YouTube's algorithms are not going to share this kind of material. So somebody wrote in a comment last night, Brian Crab wrote, "Well, buddy, I would love to help putting in a motion. You do know that family court is not even a legal court, and the first argument to be brought is jurisdiction, correct? File that motion tomorrow for dismissing on those grounds alone." Alright, well, Brian, I don't know if you've really been following the story, but you can watch it throughout, all of the stuff that we've been going through. They won't let her file anything. So how is she going to file a motion to dismiss, which she already has tried doing on multiple occasions, if they won't file it? If you wish to know what to write a complaint about, that's what you write about. Okay? I'm not dumb. I know how the law works. I've done this a lot of times, and I'm telling you right now, they are so lawless, we have to get the public involved. And if the public doesn't get involved, they're just going to become more lawless. So write to them, don't write to them. But if you don't write to them, don't be surprised when they come and take all of your property and your guns. Don't be surprised. Don't complain about your right to bear arms. Because if you're not going to write to them, if you're not going to pick up a pen, you're too sissy to pick up a gun. That's for real. Anyways, I am just conspiracy, and I just wish to conspire right now to get 2 girls back home to their mom. I don't know what's so hard about that. And in the future, I'd like to conspire to leave some rights to my little man in training and all children of the earth. But that seems to be real difficult too, because I've been on this conspiracy for years. Anyways, one world, love, and peace. See you next time.